Hey Yu-Gi-Oh fans, it's the 9th year back with a new Traptrix deck profile. So for those who don't know, Traptrix got explosive new support today through Lightning Overdrive, which includes a new Link and main deck monster. I will go over in detail about what they do and how they interact with the deck now. Without further ado, let's begin. So we're going to start off with our first main deck monster. That's going to be Traptrix MYRMELEO. So for those who don't know this one, unaffected by the effects of normal whole trap cards. This is pretty common amongst the main deck monsters. When this card's normal summoned, you add a whole normal trap from your deck to your hand. And if it's special summoned, you target a spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy that target. Note that's not a once per turn. So you could repeatedly activate its effect when special summoned, and it's a mandatory effect, so this will be important as we go along the line. Next, we're going to play 3 copies of Traptrix MANTIS, a new addition in Code of the Duelist. This one's going to act pretty similar when normal summoned, except it's going to be searching for a Traptrix monster, which up until now, which hasn't been that important, but with the new main deck monster available, this enables you to search for a combo piece. And second effect, which is pretty useful, it's a little bit niche. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target a set spell or trap you control, return that target to the hand, and then you can set one spell or trap from your hand. So if your opponent, let's just say, Twin Twisters you at targets, you can target your card to add back to your hand and reset it. And obviously you can't activate it that same turn, but you can prevent it from being destroyed. Pretty useful there. Next, we're going to play 2 copies of Traptrix DIONAEA. When this card is normal summoned, it acts as a monster reborn for your Traptrix monsters, but it has to be special summoned that target in defense position. And when special summoned, you can target one whole normal trap in your graveyard, set it, but banish it during the end phase of your next turn if it's still on the field. So this was your search target up until now. With Mantis, you would search it so that way in your next turn you could recur one of your monsters. I was running a 3, but it's not as necessary now, so we're going to keep that at 2. Next, we have our brand new Traptrix monster. So the Japanese name officially is Traptrix Gina, but the wiki here has it as Traptrix Ginalloa. Not sure on correct naming, but anyways, this is the brand new main deck monster I run 2 of. Similar effect of unaffected by effect normal whole trap cards. You can only use one of the 2 effects per turn. The first one is you can send a set trap you control to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. And if you control no cards in your spell and trap zone, you can banish this card from your grave, target one whole normal trap in your graveyard, and set it on the field. So if you search this with Mantis, it allows you to special summon from your hand and possibly activate SERA's effect. Well, on the Link monsters, we'll go over that. So what you would do is if you had, one of the trap card in your hand, set it, effect, send to grave, and special summon. And later, you can use this effect to reset this card. I think it works very well with the deck. So that's it for our main deck Traptrix monsters. Now we're going to continue off with Parallel Exceeds. So anyone that plays a rank 4 deck might be familiar with this one. So when you successfully summon a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to that Link marker. And then if this is special summon, you can special summon another one from the deck. And when special summoned by its own effect, you make it level 4 and cuts attack in half. So you summon SERA, the Link 1 monster, special summon to its zone, special no one from deck, and you have a free rank 4 there. And for our hand traps, we are going to start off with 3 Max C. We are in the OCG, so Max C is legal. It is a fighting machine. It kind of sucks when they call by the grave it or negate it other ways, like with Ash. But if you can do this while you're going second, you can really slow down your opponent just enough so that way you can survive going second. Next, we're going to play 2 Ash Blossoms. Not as significant compared to previous formats, but if you do lose the die roll or the rock, paper, scissors, you have to be able to slow your opponent down just enough. So we're going to run 2 of those. And for our spell cards, we're going to run 2 Pot of Desires. It's never fun activating this card, but the deck needs to have at least one Traptrix monster in your hand as well as some traps. So if you're in a situation where you draw, let's just say 4 traps in this, it sucks banishing 10 cards out of your deck, but you're probably going to lose if you don't activate this. So we run 2 of these for a little bit more consistency. And 1 double up chance. This is basically your win condition. It kind of sucks when you draw at turn 1, but regardless, this is your win con Next, we're going to go to our traps. This is the bulk of the deck. So we're going to run 3 Traptrix. You know, pretty self-explanatory here. You banish one of your normal traps from your deck, set one with the same name. You can only activate one trap for the rest of the turn, and it can be activated that turn. Pretty awesome. You can get your blowout cards through here, and it does activate SERA's effect. It basically allows you to search for a few cards in your deck. Next, this is a hand trap, but also a trap. 3 infinite permanences. Not as powerful as previous formats, but being able to get advantage by activating this, you know, there's no compromise, and it just acts as a normal hand trap if you're going second, for example. So really great card. You don't search it really with Traptrix. You mostly just use it to set as well as hand trap your opponent. Next, we play 3 of the Phantom Knight's trap card. This allows you to gain advantage during your first turn. Set it, special summon it. Since you activate a trap effect, you can activate SERA's effect and go off through there. Next, we're going to play 2 Ice Dragon's Prism. This card is absolutely amazing, and it's searchable with Traptrix. So we run 2, lets us interact with our opponent a little bit more, and it's good, you know, beginning, middle, and end. So we run 2 of these. Next, big impactful card is 2 Torrential Tributes. Again, searchable with Traptrix, and since you can set your board up where you're protected from destruction, it doesn't even matter if you have a bunch of Traptrix monsters on your field. Next, we're going to run 2 copies of Floodgate Trap Hole. Now, this is searchable multiple ways, like through Traptrix as well as SERA and your main deck monster. Its effect reads that when your opponent summons a monster, change it to face down defense position, and it can't be changed back up unless with a card effect. So very good against stopping a combo board right before they go into, let's just say, a link summon. If they just leave that monster there, it allows you to OTK them next turn. We run 2, so it's searchable with Traptrix as well as your Traptrix monsters. And we're going to run 2 Solemn Strikes. There are times where we can't interrupt our opponent and we have to be able to stop them, whether it's a monster effect or a summon. Let's just say a link summon, exceed summons, that kind of thing. So we have to run 2 of these. And for our 1-ofs, we run 1 Gravekeeper Trap Hole. Kind of playing around with 1 or 2. It is searchable, and it's very nice to use against, you know, hand traps, or if you use the Golden Lord's Hand in effect or grave. Burn him for 2,000. That 2,000 is actually pretty important, especially if you can't do 8,000 damage. You can just poke him with this, and it's very helpful. 1 Imperial Order. You don't run that many spells, and it can protect you from stuff like Lightning Storm, Heavy Storm Duster, that kind of thing. And 1 Bottomless. It can be activated from the deck. You can set it, search it. You only need 1. I've added this in recently and may be taking it out, but we'll find out as the format progresses. Next, we're going to move on to the extra deck. For our Link 1s, we run 3 Traptrix SERAs. Absolutely best card in the deck for sure. The Link Summon card is unaffected by trap cards, which catches people off guard a lot. They may not read that properly and activate infinite permanence. I've had someone use the counter trap for the Ellic archetype on it. The activate effect, the chain, and I'm like, it's unaffected by trap effects. I'm going to keep going. They just lost 2 cards. Pretty good there. Its other effects are also pretty amazing. If a normal trap card is activated, you can special summon 1 Traptrix monster from your deck with a different name than a card you control. And if your other Traptrix monster activates its effect, you can set 1 normal whole trap card from your deck. So what you'd do is you'd activate a trap card with SERA effect, special summon this. This is a mandatory effect, even if your opponent has no spell trap cards. You activate it, then you activate this, set a whole trap card. Lets you go through pretty well. Next, we're running 1 of the brand new Traptrix Utricularia. That's a little hard to pronounce. This link summoned card is unaffected by trap effects, so similar to SERA in that regard. When your activated whole normal trap card resolves, you can set instead of sending it to the graveyard. So it allows you to keep your trap cards on play instead of having to send them to the graveyard. And during your end phase, you can target a Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense position. So this allows you to recur some of the cards that you ended up having to use for this link summon. We only want 1 of these. It's not as significant as SERA, but definitely a great addition. For other links too, we run some pretty generic ones. So this one, whatever points to can inflict piercing damage, which is what we use with our Utopia double combo. And 1 of the Nightmares, so if you're having a hard time dealing with an opponent's board, send to the graveyard, discard a card, destroy 1 of their main deck monsters. You don't use this that often. You definitely use this when you plant OTK in your opponent. And for our link 4 is one Borrelsword Dragon. Pretty self-explanatory. If you got a bunch of monsters, just run into them and inflict as much damage as possible. Next, we run one Trickstar RAFFLESIA and one Traptrix ALLOMERUS. So these are two very important key pieces to your deck. RAFFLESIA allows you to activate your trap hole cards directly from your deck as its own monster effect, which is pretty amazing. It's basically, if you get the rank 4 out, you can activate any of your trap hole cards from your deck, and it's unaffected by trap effects while it has materials, a similar effect to, you know, SERA. And your opponent cannot target Traptrix monsters you control except this with card effects, and your Traptrix monsters except this cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so we'll go over that in a sec. And then with the new edition, came out pretty recent with ALLOMERUS. It's unaffected by trap effects while it's material, and you activate one of the following effects per turn. Detach 2 materials, special summon a level 4 insect or plant from your graveyard so you can revive one of the monsters you use, for example. And if your opponent's monster leaves the field because of your card effect and is now in the graveyard banished, bottomless trap hole, you can detach a material from this card, target one of them and special summon it to your field. Pretty amazing. You don't use that second effect nearly as often, but usually what you'll do is you'll summon this while you have SERA, activates effect, allows you to get one of your trap holes cards and set it. To continue off our rank 4s, we have Hope Double. This is our OTK potential, and to be able to facilitate that, 139 Utopia. Pretty amazing. All the monsters basically are level 4. So if you can get this link 2 here, summon effect, it does 10,000 damage. So as long as the opponent's monster has 2,000 or less attack or defense, you go over it. And for solid utility, Tornado Dragon. If you're going against back row decks, Abyss Dweller, amazing against Outlook. Activate it, they just skip a turn basically. And then for our last ones, we have one Baguska. If you're not doing so well, and you just have a SERA, just get 2 monsters out, put this in defense position, and just stall. If you're playing this, you're not doing so well, but you know, what can you do? And one Zeus, you run so many Xyz monsters, it's easy to facilitate getting this card on the field, especially because this card right here says 2 or more materials, so you can get as many materials as you want, realistically 2 or 3, and then overlay into that, and you have a board breaking machine right here. So obviously, depending on your local format, the side deck is going to be pretty subjective. What I'm playing in the OCG is 1 Pankratops, 3 Hatronade. Hatronade is pretty self-explanatory against those back row decks. I noticed that Lightning Storm wasn't as effective as I thought it was going to be, so I have not been using that recently. And for the remainder of our spells, 3 Dark Road No More. Combos kind of coming back. You need this to be able to break those boards. When you're going first and you're going against a back row deck, you're going to definitely need 2 Heavy Stormdusters. And for those Xyz, Synchro, Fusion decks, you're going to need Dimensional Barrier, which is searchable by Traptrix. And when you're going first and you need to protect yourself from cards like Evenly Matched, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, we run 3 Solemn Judgment and 1 Dark Bribe. I run Dark Bribe basically as my 4th copy of Solemn Warning, and let me tell you, it has saved my duels like crazy. So I may change it for something else, but the fact that it's flexible enough to be able to use for trap and spell cards is enough for me to warrant playing it. So a great combo would be something like summoning this, searching, link 1, activating the effect of your Phantom Knight trap card set. Since you have no trap cards in your graveyard, special summon. Since you activate a trap card, you can special summon Traptrix from deck. Since this is now once per turn, you special summon this effect to target, regardless if there's a target or not, you can activate it, which allows you to then set trap card. And that was all just with 2 cards. And then depending on if you're aware of what your matchup is or not, you proceed to Xyz summon. Typically, if I'm not really sure, I would either go Baguska or RAFFLESIA. These with RAFFLESIA, now you have access to 3 trap holes. This one that's set this turn, the one you searched, as well as one you could activate from your deck. And that doesn't even include the other cards you may have in your hand. Let me know what you guys think of the deck profile in the comments below. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.